TNA is on the precipice of greatness, and it needs a great leader. And I, Mustafa Ali, am that leader.
What's up, guys? Jon Alba of the Takedown on SI, and we are chatting with one of TNA's newest signees. He's making a return to TNA too. He is Mustafa Ali, and he is back in TNA. First off, thanks so much for hopping on the Takedown on SI. And second off, congratulations, man. What can you share with us with how all this decision-making came about?
Well, thank you for having me. A bit overdue, I would say. So, I mean, I've only been dominating the industry for the entirety of last year, but now here I am finally on your show. But better late than never, but that's okay. A bit of an executive pardon on my behalf. I'm doing great, as you can tell. Independent Wrestler of the Year award, just conveniently located over there. The TNA X Division Star of the Year for 2024, right behind me. Jon, I started out this campaign last year with a simple slogan, a simple catchphrase, if you will, and that's "In Ali We Trust." And TNA has made the smart decision of placing their trust in me. And yes, we have put pen to paper, we have shaken hands, and we have committed. I am now officially part of the TNA party, and I believe there's only one man responsible for all of TNA's success, and that is me. TNA is on the precipice of greatness, and it needs a great leader, and I, Mustafa Ali, am that leader.
So why is TNA the place for you to lead them?
I mean, you look at what TNA offers right now with this exciting, merger with this WWE NXT partnership, and now a groundbreaking attendance. And if you really look at it, who's the guy last year that came in and said that he wanted to make something great? That was me with the prestigious X Division title. You see what the X Division title has become since my absence. A bit of a toy, something that Moose, nonchalantly throws around and openly says that he doesn't care about. But when I was the X Division champion, cover of PWI magazine the first time in 20 plus years, main event of pay-per-view, sold out houses, record-breaking sold out houses. So I'm not here to talk about myself or take credit for all of TNA's success, but I do want to say that I was a gentle breeze that pushed them in that direction. TNA was the right fit for me, and I was the right fit for TNA. As you know, in wrestling in general, and in industry and entertainment, sometimes it's right place, right time, but it's got to be for both parties. I absolutely love what the industry is today. I love that one wrestler has several options, several big-time options to go make big-time money. And not just the wrestlers, I'm talking about medical staff, producers, people behind the scenes, even people that cover the industry. There's so much to do that if you're not successful somewhere, it's really on you. And I felt like TNA was going to provide me with a platform to creatively really expand. Some of these other organizations, I don't want to say bottleneck, but there's a certain process there. The one thing that I really enjoyed about my previous stint in TNA is that if I wanted an answer, if I wanted to do something, if I needed a yes or no, I knew who to talk to, and I would get that answer within minutes. Being a former WWE superstar, having friends in the AEW locker room. And I really don't want to speak on the AEW locker room because I've never been there, so I don't think it's really fair for me to say like, well, I've heard this is how it is. So I'm only going to speak from things that I have knowledge of, which is WWE and NXT. Sometimes it's a process to get a yes or a no. Sometimes you got a creative pitch and you got to wait a few weeks to a month, if not more, to find out what your idea is even possible. But with TNA, I could walk right up to the powers that be and plead my case. And I mean, it's me. So they say yes.
I do want to dig into the WWE NXT partnership in just a minute, but there was something that you hit on there that really piqued my interest, and just the opportunity that exists within TNA. And I think systemically, this has kind of been the case for TNA over the course of its entire history, where you can have someone, I'll use Moose as an example, who is the TNA World Champion, and then all of a sudden they switch gears and they're the X Division champion. And then they could go right back to becoming world champion somewhere down the line. And that's not something, an upwards mobility of sorts that doesn't really exist within a lot of companies. How do you feel that that favors what you bring to the table?
I mean, so the number one comment that I saw upon returning to TNA this past week, live, by the way, sold out in San Antonio. You're welcome to the house, ladies and gentlemen. The number one comment that I saw was there was actually a lot of surprise that I wasn't returning to once again dominate the X Division. And that's not to say that that won't happen in the future, but that's what's the cool thing about TNA is as people are coming and going, it's almost like it's like water. Like people are able to fill roles as needed, and at the end of the day, it's an opportunity. And as much as I knock on him for what he's got to say about the X Division Championship, Moose has put on some incredible matches. I personally loved his match with Speedball Mike Bailey, where he won the X Division title, and I thought it was such a great merger of styles. Moose being this raw powerhouse freak athlete, and Mike Bailey being Mike Bailey. One of the best matches I thought of the year last year. So with TNA having that opportunity, the other point I want to make is this is actually an opportunity that most wrestlers don't get in other organizations. Not that they're typecasted, but once you're, like you said, you're a heavyweight champion, you're usually in that picture, or you're a tag team wrestler, you're in that picture. I think with TNA, a few months you might be doing something, and then 6 months down the road, you could be in the main event scene. Look at the rise of Joe Hendry. Look at the return of the Hardys. Not to spill the beans too much, but let's say I have my eye on a few talent in the TNA locker room, as I will be returning Thursday on TNA Impact in my debut match again with the company. And I know that I want to have a better ensemble around me, a better cabinet, so to speak, as I launch this new campaign for the World Heavyweight Championship. So let's say there will be a few members in the roster that maybe didn't get the best opportunities in the past, but now they'll be aligned with me, and they will get these opportunities, and they will get pushed, and they will be featured. So I think that's a great thing about TNA is that there's the door is truly open.
Do you see this as a multi-year commitment to TNA?
I think you don't pay me, so you don't need to know
that. Hey, well, like you said, there's a lot of opportunities to show up in a lot of different places in wrestling, and NXT and WWE right now is one of those, given TNA's partnership with WWE. What was your initial reaction to that? You're certainly no stranger to the WWE system or to the NXT system. How do you feel it benefits each entity, and is there anything about it that's appealing to you personally?
So from a performer standpoint, and from a guy that's worked with both companies, I can see the mutual beneficial in this partnership being one for NXT talent that don't have the opportunity to get featured on NXT TV, because NXT does have these live event loops. But the real experience comes from live TV, having that pressure of hitting your times and cues and listening to the audience and seeing what works and doesn't work. And there's just a different feel that comes to TV. I feel like having those NXT talent being able to come get some minutes, some reps, and work with guys like Tommy Dreamer down at TNA, it's only going to benefit them because, and I think a lot of people kind of roll their eyes when they hear about wrestlers being frustrated. Frustration comes from two things, either lack of patience or passion. Like if you're passionate about what you want to do, if you're passionate about performing, you want to do it. So it doesn't matter how much you're getting paid to sit in the back or sit in catering. Like if what you want to do is in front of you and you're not allowed to do it, that's a hard pill to swallow, right? So a lot of these NXT cats that are just chomping at the bit for an opportunity now get to come down to TNA and get that opportunity and get those reps and get a live crowd feel. So from that aspect, I feel like it's very beneficial for them. And a lot of these NXT talents that don't have that prior independent wrestling experience get in there and mix it up with people with tons of experience on the independents and in TNA. And then on the flip side, obviously WWE is, the biggest show in town. So a TNA talent getting to mix it up with the NXT talent and getting featured on their social media or their show is only gonna, heighten their profile. So I applaud both organizations for coming together, because I think it's, at the end of the day, it's going to be beneficial for both. Me personally, I'm a businessman. I'm all about business. I've worked with both companies. I have great relationships with both companies, and I think at the end of the day, both companies are going to figure out how to benefit from working with me.
And you have so clearly embraced a side of yourself that is much more authentically you. And at least, even if it's not entirely authentically you, it stems from a piece of you that's very authentic. And would you welcome an opportunity to showcase that on an even larger stage a second time around?
So yeah, it is. Yeah, I appreciate the question, and I'm totally okay with shooting straight forward with this. I think a lot of people were surprised about the release with WWE, because I was working directly with Shawn Michaels down at NXT. He himself told me he was surprised. At the end of the day, I was a main roster guy making main roster money, and there was no plans for me on the main roster. Like, I know people want to hear like some conspiracy thing. It kind of came down to numbers. Like I mentioned, without getting too much into it, I have a great relationship with everyone there. As you can see, I'm absolutely killing it on my own, and now I'm getting to basically present this character that I've been dying to present for years. Because
Right.
yes, you're 100% accurate. Like, huge influences in my life were we're not just politicians; it's people that were able to rise to prominence or power from the people, whether good or bad. Like, how did they manipulate people? How do they get people to join these causes? Like, I always found it fascinating. All these historical, figures that we talk about to this day, what do they do to basically adopt people's preconceived ideas and change them, and then take them a certain way? I find it fascinating. And because I find it fascinating, that's why I've been so infatuated with doing a character like this. And like, come on, brother, wrestling and politics, like, hand in hand, right? Like, so
Oh
I'm
man.
enjoying myself. Yeah, I would not be opposed, obviously, to doing something, but like I said before, at the end of the day, it comes down to business. Whatever's beneficial for both parties, and it's got to be beneficial for both parties, right? I'm always open to it, and yeah, it'd be nice to see some old faces again. But I think above all else, what an exciting time to be in pro wrestling, right? Like, you don't know who's showing up at the Royal Rumble. You don't know who's showing up at Impact next week. You don't know who's showing up on Raw with this Netflix deal, like celebrities.
Mhm.
It's what a great time.
Yeah, and I asked that question not in an effort to dig deep into dirt on what happened there, but more so because you clearly are exuding a character and a performer that is really enjoying what they're doing. And right now, with what you're doing in NXT, in TNA rather, returning to that stage and having an opportunity to showcase your truest, most authentic self, I think that's something that a lot of pro wrestlers ultimately strive for and have to clear a lot of hurdles. So, in closing, I guess I asked, how much are you relishing this opportunity with TNA as you re-sign with them? And what do you truly believe you're capable of achieving over the course of the next calendar year?
So I don't think I'm just relishing the opportunity here with TNA. I have a intense gratitude for time. I've been wrestling since I was 16 years old, and the locker rooms I go into, with whether it's the Hardy Boys and Nick Nemeth, or whether it was sharing the ring with Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton, the fact that when I talk to these gentlemen or perform with them, I may not have a worldwide adulation and respect, but I do have it from the industry. I do have it from my peers, like people that I care about, that I respect, that I admire, that I look up to. Um, have said some awfully nice things to me that really make my heart complete. I'm still chasing, I'm still striving, I'm still dreaming, and I'm still competing for what I feel my place in this industry is going to be. And I feel like TNA is the vehicle, is the path, is the horse for me to jump on. It's going to get me to where I need to be. Um, I fully believe that Mustafa Ali could be the face of a company, could be the world champion of a company. You could sit me down with any sponsor, with any publication, with any TV show, and I dress like a star. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm mentally, physically healthy. You're not going to hear anything bad about me in the news. I'm not getting arrested. I'm not failing a drug test. I'm the epitome of a professional, and I'm one of the best performers in the world. So I think TNA's hit the jackpot, and I congratulate them for this contract, for this very. Thank you, by the way, guys, for the great contract. I'm very happy. My wife's very happy. And we're gonna kick ass, man. TNA's on fire right now. Sold out houses wherever we go. This live episode was an experience, man. You could feel the buzz. I was hiding out all day, obviously, as I was a surprise. And so the San Antonio was an experience, and I believe we were trending #1 worldwide right after my appearance. But I'm where I need to be, and I'm happy about it. I'm genuinely happy about it. And back to your question, I relish the fact that I'm blessed that I have the opportunity to continue to chase something, because we all know that tomorrow isn't promised. Our health isn't promised, and dreams are just dreams are how fortunate are we to even have them? So the fact that 20 plus years later, I'm still able to chase something, with the support of fans and family and my peers, I'm a blessed man, and I won't take it for granted.
You talked about earlier how you are looking at all these political figures and see how they acquired influence and people to follow them. If there's one thing I know about the Hardy Boys, it's that big money Matt can be purchased. So just putting that out there just for future reference for you. Hey, congratulations, man. Congratulations, man, on all the success, the new contract with TNA, and thanks for hopping on the Takedown on SI.